Strange Journeys Roosevelt Roads Naval Facility. In 1919, the future U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, then Assistant Secretary of the Navy, toured Puerto Rico, visiting Ceiba. When he returned to Washington, D.C., he expressed a liking for the terrain where the base now is. This was during the World War I era, and the United States could benefit from an airfield in Ceiba. While Puerto Rico is a commonwealth, its territorial rights belong to the United States, which made it perfectly feasible, and ideal, for the American government to build an airplane base in Ceiba. It took many years for the United States government to become convinced of the need for an air base in Ceiba. When Adolf Hitler and Nazi-led Germany began to invade other European countries, the U.S., led by then-President Roosevelt, entertained the idea of a naval air station in Ceiba. With war in the European and Pacific theaters, they saw an airbase in the Caribbean as necessary. The base had been inaugurated, but scaled down to maintenance status with a public works office in 1944. From then until 1957, the base went through many shifts, being opened 7 times and closed 8 times. Meanwhile, it continued as a source of employment for the citizens of Ceiba. In 1957, it was upgraded to naval station status. Fort Bundy was located there, but it crossed over to parts of Vieques, a fact which would become important in the future. An American military mission, the M3, was located there. It was part of the Naval Computer and Telecommunications Station, Puerto Rico Base Communication Department. M3 had a fleet center, a technical control facility and a tactical support communications department, among other things. The M3 was designated to help Puerto Rico, the United States and other Caribbean and Latin American countries to deal with drug trafficking, illegal immigration and other problems. The main purpose of the base was tactical support for land/sea/air maneuvers on Vieques Island. For the next 47 years the base was utilized for flight practice, as well as other missions and control of the area's airspace. In August 2002, a MC-130H airplane carrying 7 airmen crashed in the town of Caguas, while en route from Roosevelt Roads to Rafael Hernandez Airport in Aguadilla. All 7 perished, in the largest air tragedy in Caguas history. Once the largest naval facility in the Caribbean, the Roosevelt Roads Naval Facility near Ceiba, Puerto Rico, has been linked to the blood-sucking chupacabra. Rumors abound of animals found drained of blood near U.S. military assets in Puerto Rico. Eyewitnesses have claimed that the Forestry Service was colluding with the creature or its handlers to allow it to escape into nearby woods, while agents of the Department of Agriculture actively kept people away. People believed that the chupacabras were fleeing into the Yunque and Toro Negro rainforests to escape deforestation and pollution. Many of these reports also coincided with UFO sightings, particularly near a controversial U.S. Navy radar installation at Lajas, the National Guard's Camp Santiago in Salinas, and Roosevelt Roads. A janitor employed at Fort Buchanan in San Juan reported seeing a dead chupacabra kept on ice and said that military officers threatened him to remain silent. Supposedly, vicious living chupacabras were kept at Roosevelt Roads in the 1990s before being shipped to the mainland U.S. Some claim that the Navy was engaged in genetic manipulation, possibly linked with the nearby Caribbean Primate Research Center. Rumors persist of a network of caverns beneath Roosevelt Roads, said to be inhabited by a tribe of chupacabras which were left for the people of Ceiba to deal with when the Navy abandoned the base in 2004. According to Puerto Rican ufologist Jorge Martin, in 1997, a young man was killed on the streets of La Colectora in the city of Santurce. The man was shot at close range as he sat in the driver's seat of a Honda Prelude. In the back seat, police found a vial inside a manila envelope in the pocket of a military-style jacket. The crystal vial contained some kind of embryo in a translucent liquid, and the manila envelope had the handwritten words "Base de Ceiba," which could only refer to Roosevelt Roads. A television news investigation ensued, which received phone calls saying that the embryo was nothing more than a souvenir toy. However, an anonymous source from the Puerto Rico Forensic Sciences Institute reported that a medical examination was underway when an American pathologist burst in, and federal agents came to declare the area off limits. He also said, "We saw the small body that was in the jar, and it was different from the ones shown on TV. It was not a keychain. It was not a toy. What I saw was made out of flesh, tissue, and what seemed like blood. It had very pale skin. It looked like a small fetus or embryo, but it was really weird. It was an ugly little thing." But in 2004 the Navy moved out, costing the island thousands of jobs and millions in revenue. The site has sat mostly idle for a decade, and become the first island ghost town. Who knows what may have been left in a secret lab, waiting to wake up, just waiting, and waiting. Stay paranoid, my friends.